Camiguin, the island with more volcanoes than towns. Island with more volcanoes than towns. To the east of Mindanao, surrounded by the deep blue of the Bohol Sea, lies a small piece of land seemingly born from waves of fire. A small island full of mystery, stories, and history. This is Camiguin, the island with more volcanoes than towns. It rests quietly amid the waves, like a jewel cradled by time. But beneath that silence slumber mighty volcanoes, giants that once awakened and forever changed the shape of the island. Camiguin has 7 volcanoes, but only 5 towns. And within that strange balance was born one of the most fascinating places in all the Philippines, an island of fire and greenery, of tragedy and beauty. The island of fire and green. As the sun slowly rises above Manat Hibok, life awakens across the island. The mist dances in the air, the rice fields glisten in the morning light, and the fish shimmer beneath the clear waters of the Bohol Sea. But if you look closer, every inch of this land has a story, and all of it began with fire. Thousands of years ago, there was no Camiguin. This sea was silent, but deep beneath, volcanoes were slowly pushing their molten hearts upward, until lava, ash, and stone broke through the ocean floor. An island was born. An island not created by time, but by eruption. As the elders say, Camiguin was not born, it exploded. The giants beneath the earth. On this island, there are 7 volcanoes, seemingly quiet, yet each with its own story of awakening. Mindanao, Hibok, the most famous and feared of them all. It is the symbol of Camiguin, beautiful yet dangerous. In 1951, in an instant, it destroyed the entire town of Mambajao. Thousands lost their lives, and the island was buried in ash. But from those very ashes, Camiguin was reborn. Mesent Vulcan, also known as Old Volcano. It was this volcano that caused the sinking of the old town of Catarman in the 19th century. Today, the ruins of that tragedy, the sunken cemetery, remain as silent witnesses to the power of nature. Meditimpung, Mena Tres Marias, Met Mambajao, Met Guinsiliban, and Met Uhe. Quiet mountains, each one hiding a tale, a myth, a mystery. Imagine this, a small island with 5 towns, Mambajao, Mahinog, Guinsiliban, Sagay, and Catarman, but 7 volcanoes. Here, you can truly feel that in Camiguin, the earth itself breathes. Legends of fire. Countless stories have been passed down from the elders of Camiguin. One legend says the island was once part of Mindanao, but after the gods grew angry, it sank beneath the sea, only to rise again through a violent volcanic eruption. Thus they called it the island born of fire. Another tale says each volcano has a soul, a guardian spirit that watches over it. Before exploring or climbing, locals offer prayers and flowers to honor these unseen protectors. The most famous legend tells of Manat Hibok. It is said that at its summit once lived a goddess who wept endlessly for her lost mortal lover. Her tears flowed down the mountain and became a hot spring, what we now call ardent hot springs. That's why, they say, the water is warm, born from the love and grief of a goddess. The sunken church and the sea cemetery. One of the most haunting sights in Camiguin is the sunken cemetery. In 1871, Mesent Vulcan erupted violently. The entire town of Catarman was buried in ash and slowly swallowed by the sea. Only the crosses of the dead remained visible above the water, markers of a life lost to fire. Now, at sunset, you can see the golden light of the sun dip behind the large cross that marks the cemetery. The sea glows like glass, reflecting history and sorrow. It is silent, but you can almost hear whispers of those who once lived there. The rebirth of an island. But the story of Camiguin is not one of destruction, it is one of rebirth. After the devastation of 1951, the people of Camiguin rebuilt. They replanted coconuts, reconstructed homes, and slowly revived tourism. And over time, the island of ash became an island of green. Today, Camiguin stands among the most beautiful islands in the Philippines, pure, peaceful, and full of life. Here, you'll find Katibawasan Falls, like a fairy's veil hidden deep in the forest. White Island, a sandbar that appears and vanishes with the tide, and Tuasan Falls, thundering down from the mountain's heart. Every corner of Camiguin tells a story, and every story burns with the fire of nature, history, and faith. The people who live with volcanoes. The people of Camiguin are resilient. They are children of fire and sea. They have learned to live not in fear of eruptions, but in harmony with them. If you speak to a local, they'll often tell you, here, not only the land is alive, the volcanoes breathe too. And, indeed, they do. The soil here is rich and fertile. The water's abundant. Life thrives. Theirs is a simple life, but rich in wisdom and soul. Every step you take on the soil of Camiguin, you can feel the pulse of the earth, like a living heartbeat. The locals have learned to listen to this rhythm. To them, volcanoes are not monsters, but guardians, symbols of destruction and creation existing together. White Island, the vanishing paradise. Just off the coast of Mindanao lies a surreal sight. From the shoreline, you can see a strip of white sand floating on the sea. This is White Island, also called Medan Island by locals. It has no trees, no houses, just sand, sea, and sky. But what makes it special is its mysterious rhythm. It appears and disappears with the tides. According to legend, White Island was formed from the tears of the goddesses of Hibok, tears that turn to sand as a sign of forgiveness from nature to humankind. Elders say the island breathes because though it vanishes, it always returns. Today, it's one of Camiguin's most iconic destinations. From its shore, you can see the silhouettes of Met Hibok and Memthe, Vulcan standing guard in the distance. And as you sit there, surrounded by endless blue, you'll feel a peace that words can't describe. A stillness born from a fiery past. Ardent hot spring, the mountain's warm tears. At the foot of Mount Hibok lies a place embraced by nature, the ardent hot spring. Here, from deep within the mountain, flows naturally heated water, warmed by volcanic energy. Elders call it sacred. They believe the water is the mountain's tears, tears of a goddess who loves the people despite their pride. At night, some say they see shadows in the rising steam, spirits guarding the purity of the place. Scientists, however, see it as a geothermal wonder, a gift from a living earth. When you bathe in its warm water, you feel something beyond comfort. The heat touches your skin, but it's your spirit that feels lighter, cleansed, as if the earth itself forgives you. The tragedy of Hibok, 1951. Behind the mountain's beauty lies one of Camiguin's darkest memories. It was December 1951. The island was peaceful, people harvesting crops, children playing by the shore. Then suddenly, at the summit of Hibok, the earth roared. In minutes, fire, ash, and stones rained from the sky. Entire towns, Mindanao and Catarman, were wiped out. Over 3,000 lives were lost. Many were never found. Survivors said, "We thought it was the end of the world." When the eruption ended, silence remained. The lush island had turned grey. But years later, life returned. The soil enriched by ash gave birth to new harvests. From death, life began again, faith amid the fire. The people of Camiguin are deeply faithful. Despite earthquakes and eruptions, they never lost their devotion. Every Holy Week, thousands of pilgrims climb Mount Vulcan for the Panaad sa Camiguin, the Way of the Cross. 14 stations mark the path upward, each one a prayer, each prayer a memory. From the summit, you can see the sunken cemetery below, a reminder that even death can be sacred. The mountain that once brought ruin now serves as an altar of faith. The secret of Camiguin's cleanliness. Visitors often notice how incredibly clean Camiguin is. No trash on the roads, no litter in the sea. It's not by chance. The people believe that if you wish nature to bless you, keep your home clean. Because they respect the land, the sea, and the fire beneath, the island remains pure and thriving. Cleanliness here is not a rule, it's a way of life. The silent miracle from the sky, Camiguin looks like a teardrop in the middle of a blue sea, small yet alive. It has fire beneath, history within, and faith at its core. Unlike other destinations full of noise and luxury, Camiguin's beauty is quiet. It is a miracle that speaks softly to those who listen. People return here not for luxury, but for peace, the kind only an island born of fire can offer. The island's message to the world. In a world moving too fast, Camiguin is a reminder that there are places on Earth that don't need to change. They already teach us everything we need to know. Camiguin's message is simple. From destruction comes rebirth. From fire comes life. Every time you climb Hibok, swim in White Island, or gaze upon the sunken cross, you're reminded. beauty always comes with sacrifice. Camiguin stands as proof that nature is not our enemy. It is a mother, strict, forgiving, and full of love. And like any mother, no matter how many times we fail, she always welcomes us home.